For all the sailors out there, you will understand that receiving these boxes is something like Christmas and birthday and bar mitzvah at the same time. Because all the items in this boat are going to make this boat more fun to sail, more safe. That's how I explained it to Anna. And also just more sexy. And that's important for me because it's always important to be able to identify with the vessel you're sailing. Anyways, to explain what exactly I'm doing and why I'm doing it, we need to look back a year.
1 year ago, a long-held dream finally came true. We flew to Sweden to buy a sailboat.
I can't believe it. This is so surreal. How are you feeling?
I'm really super happy, and I can't explain how happy I am.
After 5 years of living, working and filming here at the Chateau, I felt this growing need to step away from renovation for a while to learn something completely different. I miss traveling, I miss that sense of adventure that was once part of my life. Before the Chateau, I was a documentary filmmaker, and travel was my everyday. Of course, buying a sailboat isn't something you just do, especially not with a family. Convincing Anna and the kids actually took longer than finding the right boat. But in the end, we all agreed. And that's how we became the owners of an Arcona 400, a Swedish cruiser racer from 2007. Beautifully built, with lovely interiors and a fast, elegant hull. A boat with just the right amount of potential and plenty of room for me to grow as a sailor.
We're sailing!
But there's the thing, nice boats are expensive. And this one was in great shape inside, but pretty basic when it came to equipment and features. And honestly, that suited me perfectly. I'd rather start with something simple and invest the time, effort and money to make it exactly how I want. Last summer we sailed her for 2 months. Just enough time to figure out what mattered most for us as a family. More battery power, so we could live off-grid longer, charge our computers, run our cameras and not rely on marinas or the engine. A proper inverter to handle our editing setup even if not plugged into shore power, and a full upgrade of the navigation electronics, some of which were starting to fail. Most people would probably hire somebody for a job like this, but for me, figuring things out myself is part of the adventure. I want to really understand how this boat works, to be able to fix things when no help is around, and let's be honest, it saves a bit of money too. I've already shown you how I managed to squeeze in 600 amp hours of lithium batteries and rebuild the entire power system, but now comes the fun part. The upgrade that will really transform this boat from a 20-year-old classic into something that feels truly modern and ready for adventure.
So the first thing I have to do is to install the new autopilot. I took out the old autopilot which lived in here. Unfortunately the new one is a bit bigger because it's much smarter, but there's no space in here. So I sacrificed yet another cupboard for my gadget. It lives in here now. Look, I already installed it. Can you see? I already have one cable coming from the back of the boat, from aft as we sailors say. And now I need some more cables, including the cable for the new autopilot motor. It's a motor that steers, that turns the boat when it needs to be turned. And some other little cables to make it work.
An autopilot is like a silent crew member. It keeps the boat on course and frees our hands for sailing, navigating or just for resting. They've come a long way from simple mechanical wind vanes to today's smart systems that steer with precision even if the sea is rough.
So unfortunately there's an existing cable from the previous installation, but it's just like 40 centimeters or less too short. So I'm going to attach them to each other. And I have a longer cable and I hope that when I pull, I can just use the other cable as a mouse to pull it through. So now I need to pull from the other side and hope that this thing manages to squeeze into that tube without getting stuck. Yes. It came out on the other side. This is the back of the boat, the aft of the boat. This is a locker and a lot of things happen in this locker, electronically speaking. I need to install this smart sensor. This is a sensor that senses the inclination of the boat. You see when the boat heels or it goes forward and backwards, this senses it, tells it to the autopilot, and whatever correction it does, take into account the sensor's placement. Hello from inside the locker. I found a place. It's a bit of a weird place, but I think it's a good one. I'll show you where. This is the steering system. So when you turn the wheel, this turns and it turns the rudder, which is right underneath here. And I'm going to mount it here.
The autopilot sensor needs to be mounted as straight as possible, and for the first time I used the leveling app that comes with iPhones. It's a perfect tool for this job. And after 30 minutes of what people refer to as boat yoga, it was mounted.
It's green. Green like victory. Green like measuring genius. Next step will be to change that motor because it's a bit old as well and it didn't work that well anymore, so I got a new one. Beauty here is the new drive unit for the autopilot. Brand new. Looking forward to installing this.
I quickly learned that working on a boat is surprisingly similar to renovating a house, especially when it comes to time estimates. You make a careful guess, add a generous buffer for unexpected surprises, and then you double it. That rule applied to pretty much every step of this refit. And of course, since it's my first time doing most of these jobs, I had first to figure out how everything works. But in a way, it brought me right back to our first year here at the Chateau, when every task was something completely new, exciting, and finishing anything at all felt like a huge victory.
So what we did, we installed this guy here. This guy tells the brain where the rudder position actually is. This one is the motor that drives the automatic pilot. And this is the young man who installed all of this for the first time in his life. There couldn't be a better ad sponsor for this video than Bamboo Lab. Even though I started using their 3D printers about a year ago, I only realized now what the true potential of these machines can be. Because previously I was relying on a page called MakerBoard from Bamboo Lab. You can browse a huge catalog of nice objects and import them into your slicer and then print it. And the easy 3D programs to design vases, for instance. This beauty, which I think is a highlight, but Anna sarcastically calls this vase a pumpkin. And now it lives hidden behind some books in my office. But with this refit, I understood that I need some custom-made pieces to fit in all the electrics and electronics that I want in this limited space. Pieces that you can't buy. And so the only way for me to have these pieces is if I designed them myself and if I printed them myself. But in order to do this, I had to learn how to design my own pieces according to my exact measurements. And for that, I needed to learn a 3D software. And then I went to ChatGPT, told ChatGPT that I'm a complete beginner, and please help me to come up with a design for a switch plate that I needed. And it took about 3 hours to design it with the help of ChatGPT. But not only had I then the perfect piece, I also learned all the necessary steps to design any object I needed in the future. So 3 hours spent of my lifetime to learn a new software. And now I can say that whenever I need a piece in a house for the chateau, for the boat, for whatever, I can make it myself. I think that's a good way to invest 3 hours. And I'm super happy now that I can do that, and even a little bit proud.
Probably the most tricky but also very satisfying project was this backplate to attach 4 switches. I had to make recessed holes with the shape for hexagonal screws, and it turned out perfect. This item does not exist, you can't buy it, and there was no way I would have managed to mount 4 switches directly onto thin wood without damaging the locker. But with this backplate, everything is tidy and stable, and I can switch on and off each of my future solar panels individually.
Okay guys, new day, new hat, and I want to show you this one. I finished cabling the autopilot brain unit. So all the cables go in here, into here. It's still a bit messy, but it's only a couple of minutes away from being really clean. But it's done. I'm really happy. I can't try it yet because, well, I need to install the plotter first and other things, but I think it looks good. The question is, will I be able to put this ceiling thing back in here? Because it was quite a puzzle without the before. Easy. Beautiful. One more thing done. Hallelujah. It's beautiful weather today. It would be the perfect weather to go for a sail, but I have to work. Sacrifices now for later gratification. And next step is to change. This is the old autopilot controller. I'm gonna get a new one, much nicer looking one. But I need to figure out how to get this off and then how to put my cables from here again into the boat. Force. Good. Okay, now I have to install 2 more items, and both are as exciting as they are complex. This is, first of all, this one. This is the autopilot control unit. Basically to tell the autopilot where to go manually, and then here the drums. Ta-da! The plotter, that's the core. That's everything. That's where everything comes together. And it has a screen, and you know, touch screen and buttons, and it's cool stuff. It's really cool stuff. And you can read charts on it. That's the main function. You look at it and you see the sea charts, and then you avoid going into rocks. Trust me, installing this will make a huge difference for our comfort and for our safety in the future. So let's see if we can manage this. I need to see the cables. Look at it. Ooh, that looks professional. Look at this. Look at this beauty. Oh. And look at this, all these nice connections. There's something really beautiful and reassuring with connections.
What followed was hours of passing cables through thin pipes, but I'm happy to report that I managed to squeeze through all the new cables and I could finally complete the installation of the autopilot.
Ta-da! The new beautiful autopilot controller. So pretty, it has to be protected from the UVs. Oh, look at this. Look at this marvel. Is it in?
Yes.
Anna was so kind to join me for something extremely excited, and Anna loves boat work like the next person.
Yes.
So I really appreciate it. And I need her to have a very, very complicated task, hold a screwdriver for me. I'll take it. So I need to screw something from inside here. Look,
Yeah.
I need to tighten all the screws that are holding the 2 bits of the boat, the shell, the hull and the deck together.
Okay.
Because they loosen up a bit. It's hard to see, but they are up there, all along the boat.
So you need me upstairs, up
And I
on
need
the
you
top?
outside,
Yeah.
because you see there's these,
Oh yeah.
you see them?
So with like an Allen key or something?
Yeah, exactly. Hold an Allen key so they don't spin, and I can
Okay.
screw them in from. So the only thing is we need to communicate and agree on which one I'm working on. So I think I can see it. This is
You
quite
can-
practical.
I'll
I can
point
see
to-
it.
yeah,
I
okay.
can see. Okay.
Okay.
And we work from here to here.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Good. This is a good one. Yeah. Can you hold
Good
this
one?
one? Okay. This one is. Yeah. Okay. And I need to. You look like a stalker. Somebody who comes from outside. It's kind of scary. Can you feel it?
It sounds like it's the right place.
Okay. Then the next one, one back.
This one?
This way, yeah. Maybe I don't need you after all in this
No,
case.
I don't think so.
So Anna decided to leave.
I was very helpful.
Yes, you were. No, it was nice to see you, my love.
Okay, well, we had a nice lunch,
Yes.
and I'll be back on Thursday for a full day of
Yes.
boat work, which I can't wait for.
I know.
So now I'm going back to the chateau to do some tile cleaning.
Have fun.
Right.
Bye, my love.
Bye.
This is another 3D printed project. These were absolutely essential. I printed these to house my fuses. I planned in 2 holes so I can screw them on here. And then they are a solid piece. And they can be mounted where I mounted them. Cool, isn't it? I don't know, how would you do that without a 3D printer? And yeah, I'm pretty happy. Send me a message if you use these and want one of these angle pieces. I can send you the file, the printing file, and you can print it at your own home. Another beautiful day, and it's getting really hot inside, but I have to make progress. And next step is to install this big boy here. This is a radar. Actually, I'm not sure if I can install it. It depends if Julien, the local boat mechanic, has time to come. And in order to install that, I have another cardboard box, another present for me, for myself, which came courtesy of a company called Scan Strut, as a British company. And if you're sailing, then you certainly have heard about this. They make fantastic accessories, and they were so kind to send us this one. The main good is this. In this beautiful cardboard box, there is an even more beautiful. This is the radar mount. This will be bolted to the mast, and the radar sits on top of it. And this has to be extremely sturdy because obviously the radar has a certain weight and the mast swings around, so you can feel the quality. It's a beautiful object, and my coffee is ready. But that's not all. There's another little item, and I was so looking forward to receive this. This is a little plug socket for USB. It's called Tiles, and it's also from Scanstrat, and it's really nice and neat. And you know, when the boat was built, it was 2007. That I was basically a child. There were no objects that needed to be charged by USB-C, and USB-C wasn't there. But it makes such a difference if you can charge your phones, if you can charge your tablets, your cameras. For us, it's extremely important that we can do that. So small item, but massive upgrade. So I think the perfect place for these would be somewhere here, because that's where my cameras are when they are charged. That's where my phone would be. So I want to install at least 2 of them. That gives me 4 plugs here, and they're small and tiny. Now I just need to understand what's behind this wall, because I don't want to drill into something and then turns out I'm sinking the boat. So under this and empirically try to see if there's something. No, there's just an empty space. I lost my drill bit. Oh! I have it on my fingertips. Ooh. Oh! Amazing. Oh, I'm so happy. I promised the girls to make also one for them in their cabin, so I'm gonna make one here. It goes without saying that whatever items our children are gonna charge with this USB charger, it will be educational content. They're really good. They also always finish their food, and they're kind to their father, never make fun of him. Some of you might think, why didn't I buy some light fittings that at the same time are USB chargers? That they exist. I looked into it, but the problem is they are really weak. And this one charges up to, I think, 60 watts if you have a 24 volt system, or 30 watts when you have a 12 volt system. So they will give your phone or whatever you charge much more power. Yeah. I love it. So Julien arrived, that's really good, and he's already going up the mast. Are you using the electric winch?
Radar is one of the most useful options you can have on a sailboat, especially in busy waters like the Channel, where there's constant ship traffic, ferries and fishing boats crossing your path. It lets you spot other vessels, land and obstacles long before you see them with your eyes, even in fog, rain or darkness. It can also help you to spot incoming squalls or bad weather long before it hits you, and giving you precious time to prepare. A radar isn't something you absolutely need, but we already wished we had one when we ended up in dense fog in Sweden, with a ferry suddenly popping out of nowhere behind us.
Next morning the weather was bad. We were thinking to stay another night in the same place, but eventually decided to head out, despite the fog.
Philip, what's going on?
Oh my god, there's a monster's coming out of the fog. You don't have too much space because there's rocks everywhere, so... Be prepared for a big wave, girls.
Girls, big wave coming.
So I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that the radar is installed, and I can show you. Now the bad news is, and that's rather bad news, which makes the good news a bit obsolete. And the bad news is that we didn't manage to put the cable from the radar into the hull. But the cable got stuck, and yeah, so there's no way to get it through. And the only way to do that now is to take the mast off the boat, but that's not something we can do before the summer. So that's a bit of a downer, because I really wanted to have a radar, not because it's absolutely necessary, but I would have loved to practice a bit using it for further adventures later. But anyways, however, the good news is we managed to install a new wind instrument, and now I have to crack on and finish that boat, so it's ready for in 10 days.
The inverter charger is the core of our electrical installation. It charges the lithium batteries, but it also can transform the 12-volt current from those batteries into AC current, like the current in plug sockets at home, to run, for instance, hair dryers or kettles when offshore or at anchorage. However, in the tight cupboard space, I did not manage to properly fix it against the wall, so I decided to design and print a bracket. I used a special filament, PACF, which is light and strong, but needs to be printed in an enclosed printer like my P1S.
Here we go. Ta-da! If you wonder what this funny tree is, it's whenever you have an overhang, the printer automatically prints sort of a support, because obviously it can't print into the void, so it creates these little pretty looking trees, and then you can just take them off. Ha! Look at this beauty. I mean, that isn't amazing, and let's test how strong it is. Yeah, no way this would ever break. Super light and super strong. Very cool. I'm very pleased. Now I'm super excited to see whether my 3D printed object does the job and has the right measurements. I need some screws. Now look at this piece, and now is the moment of truth. Will it fit? And I think now everybody understands what it's doing. It's basically preventing this, because I'm going to screw this in. It's going to preventing this machine, was only attached on the top part, from swinging forward, because there were some screws at the back, but yeah, there's no way for me to access them the way I installed it here. I'm going to put the camera aside and screw it in. Here we go! It is installed. It looks beautiful. It does the job perfectly, and if I want to take it out, I can always slide it back and then it goes in again. Yeah, brilliant! Thank you, Bamboo Lab, for being so useful. And because we are at it, Bamboo Lab is actually running their 3rd anniversary campaign with some of the best discounts ever. And all printers are up to 40% off. So it's really the best moment to check them out, look what they have on offer. Click the link in the description and find out for yourself. Hello my friends, it's a new day, a bit of a rainy day. But essential today, important step, one of the last mission critical things I have to do on the boat before I can leave. These are the old instruments, and I want to replace them with new one, and it's gonna make it better boat, a safer boat, and also a much more good looking boat. The problem is I have no idea how those cables are routed inside from here to the switchboard, and I'm really afraid that they are somehow so hidden that it's almost impossible to get the new thicker cables through. So that could be a massive problem. If I can't sort that out, I don't know what to do. They're actually good instruments. They're not broken, but they don't work as well with my new system. So it's time to change them for something more contemporary and also more easy to use. I need to unscrew this back plate here. I knew that would be a tight fit, so I ordered the tiniest screwdriver I could find in Amazon. It's good. I have enough space here.
Viva a cartola, viva a candeia, viva a cuíca do mestre Marçal, viva a portela, viva a mangueira, viva o fundo do nosso quintal. Viva a cartola, viva a candeia, viva a cuíca do mestre Marçal, viva a portela.
I also decided to take off the old broken solar panel to free up cable space in the conduct for the new displays, which are routed through the same space as the solar panel.
I don't have all the new solar panels yet for this boat, but I have some of them. And I bought all my solar panels from a company called Flynn. It's a German company, a young startup, super nice guys. I met them in person, and I show you their main product, and that's what it's going to be mounted on our boat this year already. Or one of their best-selling products, I believe. These are super cool because you can mount them on the balcony, on the railing. They are mobile, and you click them in on the side. I'm going to show you when we are going sailing and show you how that works. But the idea is that when you have sun from one side, you put them on one side, and then you can either leave it there when you're sailing, or you just move it to the other side if you want all the power from the other side when you're on anchor. And they are 100 watts, super lightweight, super cool way to install them. I really need to show you in action when we are sailing. Great stuff from Flynn. I'm going to link to their homepage in the description. Look, this one is sitting here, and I will apply some Velcro flaps here, so this can be fixed. Really looking forward to install this. So I have to do something I didn't want to do, and that's undo the spray hood. But I need to get this off. I can't run the cables without taking this off. So. Oh, I think it's time for a good clean. This is totally acceptable now, but this is still a mess.
What follows was hands down the most stressful moment of the entire refit. I had to squeeze a big connector through a tiny cable conduit, the only one on the whole boat where there was no alternative route. The new instruments have larger plugs, and if it didn't fit, I'd have to cut open the interior of the boat, which would be a disaster, of course. I pulled out the old cables to make space, and even ended up dismantling the ceiling in the head, which turned out to be a great move because I found a hidden junction that let me split the job into 2 easier steps. Still, the last bit was brutal. I wrapped the connector, used kitchen soap because why not, and pushed, pulled, swore, until finally about 3 hours later, it popped out at the other end. What a relief.
Ah! Look at this. It's here. It's here. Oh my goodness. Ah.
Compared to that cable nightmare, everything else felt almost easy. Cutting bigger openings into the instrument panels was pretty straightforward. I used some backplates I have ordered months ago online, back when I still haven't figured out how to design custom shapes on my 3D printer, which in hindsight would have saved me €150. Then it was just a matter of mounting everything, plugging in all the instruments and connecting the electronics. One of these rare moments in my refit where things actually go as planned.
Ta-da! After a bit of screwing and boat yoga to get them fixed from behind, the screens are there. Look at this, isn't it beautiful? Looks so modern and cool, and can you imagine when there's the wind and your speed and your distance. Hello Anna, you arrived.
I'm back at the boat and it doesn't look any tidier.
It does much tidier. Look in here. Look, this one is also. Oh, you haven't seen the intermediate state, so.
No.
Yeah, actually, it was much worse, but now it's better. It's getting better. And today, I'm finishing so many things, so it will be good. And look how kind Anna was, and she brought me a sandwich.
Yeah.
And a coffee. And I guess that's water.
Yeah.
It's very, very nice. And as a thank you, Anna.
Yeah.
I give her some
jobs.
Cleaning and corking jobs because
Yeah.
she's really good at corking.
I think you need a bit of help.
And I definitely need help because there's no way I could finish that. And yeah.
I'm not helping with the electrics, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I need to do some corking.
Let's go. I show you what to do.
Okay.
I'll take the old corking off.
Okay. Have you got something for that?
And it's basically all the corking. Look, Anna. Starting from here.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see that.
Starting from here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you could try to clean it, but I don't think it will clean.
You know what? It would have been good if we'd had the paddleboard. We'll
yeah,
see how
I don't
far.
want to be in a paddleboard in the harbour.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you think you can't get down there?
We'll see. I'll climb from over there, that side.
Oh yeah, you're right. It might be a bit tricky.
I'll see. I'll see how I get on.
Yeah, don't fall in the water here because
You've already been in there once.
I've been once and I don't wish that to anybody.
Once I dropped my phone in overboard and Philip very kindly rescued it. I thought it was going to be gone, but actually you found it, which was a miracle, and it survived. So yeah, I know that I don't want to go into this murky water.
No. All right.
All right. Let's see. I can.
The last thing I want to show you is this little cover. It's more, which I printed as well, it's more an aesthetical problem that I solved. Look, it's in here in the cupboard, because that's where on the outside there's the kitchen, and I mounted a kitchen plug, an electrical plug. And yeah, it looks like this from inside. It's not perfect. It's not a problem, but it's this orange white, so I don't like it. You can see I made these two ears, so for the screws. You can see, it's perfect. Perfect fit.
And what about you? What would you print if you had a 3D printer at your disposal? Or is there anything you would like me to print in a future video? Let me know, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
Big moment. I'm gonna switch on all the things that I installed over the last 2-3 months. And we're gonna see if it works. Super excited. If the screen works, if the plotter works, and if they all communicate together. So, wow. If not, we have a problem. If yes, we're happy.
Should I come down? It just turned on.
What?
What? These screens?
The screens?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Look at this. I can't believe it. I mean, of course they turn on. What did I think?
Well done.
Oh, and then let's see the plotter.
Yeah.
And the plotter is on.
Is it on? Can we see it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What does it say?
I don't know.
Oh,
Getting started.
That's just it. Oh my goodness. It looks like such an amazing
Setup, yeah.
Setup. It looks fantastic. They're all happy. They don't say they're not connected, so it looks good. It looks really good.
Well done.
I'm super happy. Obviously, that will take some time to set everything up, but yeah, let me see. I am so relieved.
Oh, yeah?
After months and months of work, yeah, it seems that things start to work again. That's good. Very good.
Thanks so much if you watched this video till the end. And we can't wait to start our summer adventure in a couple of weeks and find out how all the new gear makes our journey safer and more comfortable. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and see you back at the Chateau next time.